Is this the last one? Surely this is the last one. You wouldn't kill my pet. You wouldn't kill my pet. Come on. That's just spiteful at this point. Yeah, that's it. That's it. That's it. We're out. Sphinx. Hello, sir? Sir, please. God damn it. Sir, please, we left your island behind. Get out of here. You rat. God damn it. That is spiteful. That was definitely not the intended way to do that. I don't know how you're meant to break those three. Probably need to like lull them and then feign and re-pull or something. Definitely a bit awkward having the ad on me for the whole thing. Probably not intended. I don't know what's going on here. It looks like we've got a bunch of indifferent sphinxes. The next island is the Eye of Vishan, I think. Wait, are you evil? No, you're alright, you're alright. You're chilled. You guys are chilled too, right? Are you chilled? Oh, she's not chilled. She's not chilled at all. She's the opposite of chilled. I think we just run in there and kill her. I have a feeling. Like, cause we're not pulling her out of here, are we? Look at this shit. She's not chilling the slightest. Yeah, I don't think pulling her out is the play. Don't know how I thought that would land with that over channel. That's absolutely ridiculous. It didn't land with over channel either. You in the market for any debuffs here, my sweet? You are not in the market for any debuffs, are you? Yeah. You're not interested in the slightest. We are visitors in your home, so... Oh, there we go, slow landed. Slow landed eventually. There we go, there's Incap. She seems really weak. Does she have another... Is there something else that she's going to bring out? I've got offense stance here. I'm Slick Rick with thick dick right now. She looks deranged. She looks like she's had a very good night. Oh, that really was just it. Genie Warblade. Ah, the Blade of Abrogation. I remember this. I remember getting this. I remember being very excited about this. Blade of Abrogation. That was so easy. What the hell? Why was she so easy? This is the Eye of Ishan. There is nothing else on this island, as I remember. I think you have, if you do something with a noble de Journe, then there is something else on here. I think. I think if you kill noble de Journe, then another piece of Vishan spawns on here. But I don't know, man. It's been a hot minute. That is what they call a resist. Oh, that's an awful lot of damage, isn't it? That's a juicy amount of damage. Can we maybe slow? It's gonna be very tough if we can't slow. Gotta lay on hands. Okay, nothing has landed so far. It is level 70, so I guess it's not that surprising. Is this an amount of damage that we can not really? It's hit so hard. Cannot land a slow to save my life. Okay. That's concerning. Give it a minute. Oh, the damage is stuck on it. That's odd. What's going on there? Surely that will reset when I restart it. Oh, we don't have quick referral now, so it's lightweight buffs for Kanana. There we go. We just have to try and land a slow. I feel like it shouldn't be. It isn't immune. I think maybe we just got unlucky, or I could try and land Malozzi, but Malozzi's only -10 modifier on magic. I don't know if it's even worth trying. Surely it can't be magic immune. It's just got so many levels on us, I guess. It's got 20 levels on us. I don't know how to deal with it if I can't slow it. It just hits so hard. I guess it doesn't have the most HP. Oh no, don't kill. No. Okay, yeah, this is doable, I think, but it's very rough, and I'm not sure whether to commit to this when we've had our pet killed. I think we probably do. Yeah, we have to soul fire. I'm not sure how much burst potential it has. Yeah. I don't think we're going to have our lay on hands again. Not unless we spam some heals on ourselves. Just basically stalling to our next lay on hands. there's lay on hands. It would have been so much easier if my pet hadn't died, if I hadn't been stupid. Symbol of vision. This is back. What do we do with the symbol of vision again? Vision. Missing turning component for the shaman test of witch doctor, really? Say shaman on it? Oh yeah, it says shaman on it. I'm stupid. I'm an idiot. That takes us down to the thingy section, right? Yeah, okay. Witch doctor. Symbol of vision, a Windarune Gaza. We have one of those. We do. And something else? Ah, you need a pretty war mace as well. Let's see. I do not believe we have one of those. We've got a war sword. What else do we get here? We got this. The silken strands. None of these sound like a monk. It's definitely not Blade Master. Oh, Silent Hand. This must be it. No, that's Rogue. Can't be Ebon Blade. This is Paladin. That's Shadow Knight Paladin. This must be Ranger? Or Druid? Magus, Enchanter, Necromancer. Monk? Yeah, this is it. Okay. Silken Strands and Windrune Kaza. Where did my last Windrune Kaza go? Oh, there it is. You want something else? A Windrune Kaza, some Silken Strands, and some Windrune Kaza. Oh, Windrune Kaza. We don't have that. Not Gaza. Easy mistake to make. Please forgive me, Mr. Afriti Man. You can see how there was some confusion. What do I pick from the Mausoleum guy? That's kind of totally up to you, man. Do you want one of the collab characters? If not, maybe Redbeard, because Redbeard has a really good inherit for your priest, for your presumably Alice. Okay. This has been a trip today. We've actually done so much more today than I planned to. I had no expectations of killing everything on D4. All of the bosses. Yeah, I think Razul's talking about the collab selector. I think we pull this guy inside here. Yeah, the selector guy. If you want a unit out of that, I'd recommend Zide. If you're looking for a new fun unit, I'd recommend Zide. Or Prish if you want something really spicy, but it might be difficult to build. Zide is a lot easier. Otherwise, if you're not looking for a new unit, Redbeard's probably the best pick for you because you probably don't have a Redbeard inherit yet, and Redbeard is an incredible inherit. And yeah, Arboris is a good inherit as well. It's just that he is more of a kind of further down the line kind of thing. To be honest, I think all of these bosses I've done have been pretty hard. Today, they felt pretty hard. Even fucking Maestro of Rancor fucked me up. Alice dupe. I'd save it for now. I'd probably save it. I just sit on it for now. You probably want to get two. When you've got 2 Alice dupes, you probably want to just make your Alice inherit 3. That would be probably my first protocol. Do you have Shio, Razil? Am I misremembering? Someone has Shio. I think we can go offense here. This guy is not strong. Can we slow the Blade Storm? I think we can. Oh yeah, our pet has slow on it, so that means that we can too. Or we can just kill the Blade Storm. Saw the credit roll and got that first Stormblood main story quest. Oh, dude, I'm so happy for you. I'm so glad that you finally get to see Stormblood. It feels like you've been in Heavenswood for months, dude. Congrats, man. Congrats to you. Who else was with you? I take it Fox wasn't there today. I know, whoever was there, like, I'm just so happy for you, man. I'm so glad you get to see Stormblood's so cool. I think I prefer Stormblood a lot. The Heavens. Oh, Fox did do it. Awesome. I'm so happy for you guys. Well done. I'm sorry I couldn't be there, man. I felt bad. I felt really bad earlier when you asked. I don't want to be. I don't want to like string you along with it. It feels even worse. Yeah, where the hell's Quantum? Where's Quantum in all this? I know some people say they really like Heavenswood. I thought it was kind of It's kind of I don't know how you felt about it, Boone. I feel like Heavenswood is the worst expansion. I don't know about Dawn Trail. Probably not as bad as Dawn Trail. I've heard pretty bad things about Dawn Trail. Yeah, it was okay. It was just okay. I felt the same way. I was just happy to be over it when I was done with it. I haven't heard a lot of positive things about Dawn Trail. I really enjoyed Stormblood. I think it has some really cool storylines in it. I like a lot of the characters in Stormblood. What's his face? Dragoon guy's pretty cool. He's probably the best part of Heavenswood. Just because he's such an edgelord. I'm there for it. Yeah, Estinian. We still got to kill the Blade Storm. The big golden 3D Greaves. These are probably not better than what we're using. 3D Zweihander. It's not super useful. There's some more widened tree antlers. This. Probably gonna start being able to use those. Just store those for now. I think. Oh my god! I almost just ran straight off the edge. The hell is wrong with me? That's the second time I've done that up here. Yeah, I really just almost sent it. I just sent it off the edge. The hell is wrong with me? You're great to hold, yeah? Yeah. got like a dozen things chasing us from each island. As well pick up some Spyrox for the collection. That's this side. We have to feign these off because they chase us between islands, as we found out. I thought killing Noble Dijon spawned something else up here. I guess not. I swear there was some way that you spawned like another piece of Vishan up here. You can re-farm Spinnerwoman. You can farm Spinnerwoman as much as you like, mate. Hand of Vishan. Only after you kill the Overseer. Oh, shit. It spawns the Overseer of Air on Island 5. Oops. That's on Spyrock Island. I don't know where I went to that island exactly, but... Boone has literally been in Heavenswood for months. It's so I'm so happy he's out of it, man. He's been waiting for people as well. Been like waiting really patiently for people. Well, yeah. Well, yeah, Quantum. I didn't want to name any names, but what's this Overseer of Air? Awkward with all these fucking Spyrox around. It's Island 5, right? Can't target Overseer. Killing Dijon spawns the Overseer of Air on Island 5. This is Island 5, is it not? Oh shit, it's not. It's Pegasus Island. Tits. We gotta do the bees again. Bees. Why did it have to be bees? We run fast enough, there's no way they can catch us. We can outrun the bees. Surely. We lost one of them. All the planes are, more importantly, a bunch of hole. A bunch of time in the hole. What more could you want? I actually love the hole. The hole is a sweet zone. The coolest thing about the hole, right, when you're like on live back in the day, I remember being in groups in the hole where we were moving down to kill things, where we were going to like quest mobs in the hole. And like, this is back when people were real clueless and weak and shit. And like, we would be killing, and because of how long it took us to kill stuff, like things would be respawning behind us, and we were just in this constant like unforgiving train down into the hole. With stuff constantly respawning behind us, so we just had to keep going towards like where we thought our target was going to be. That was so much fun. Oh no. I'm going to aggro that. Know where the Overseer of Air is. Oh shit, we're going to aggro it. We're going to communal aggro a bunch of stuff if I don't pull this away. Didn't even think about it. Go on, off you come. Over here. Overseer of Aries over there. Okay, that explains the windmill. It is embarrassing how little of this I remember, but it was 25 years ago, so like let me off the hook. You mind? Can't resist that when I've got overchannel on, mate. It's a rando mob. Not the Eye of Vishan. Have some clash, yeah. Interesting. So you can get runes from anything. I guess you could just farm shit for runes. Oh, he's indifferent. I'll teach him to be indifferent. Ah, fuck a duck. Oh my god, what's going on here? What is he doing to me? I haven't played Dawn Trail, so like I don't want to be overly harsh about it because I think it's unfair to shit on something that you haven't actually played. But I have heard a lot of people say that it's really bad. That many people probably can't be wrong. I hope we're safe from those pathing unicorns in here. Pathing Pegasi, sorry, not unicorns. It's gonna spawn a thing. It did indeed spawn a thing. Probably need to re-slow the overseer. Who's chunked my pet? Which one of you scum suckers has chunked my pet? That is not acceptable. We need to rehaste. Re-Puma first, and then rehaste. Feels good when my pet lives. Love to see my pet live a fight. This guy seems to be proccing some magic. Like 400 point magic blast or something. I'm trying to figure out what it is. Oh, shit. Well. I'll die if I'm not careful. Wasn't paying any attention at all. His slow fell off. I was trying to look for what his proc was. Re-incap as well. That's a hefty proc. Maybe I can find it after combat. It's a 400 point magic proc, it looks like he's doing. 400 points magic proc. Of unresistible damage by Soul Devour. Seems just target Soul and Darkness, causing 500 damage. But I'm only taking 400 damage. But unresistible. Defensive, decreased damage. Something I'm doing is decreasing damage. Ah, incoming magical damage reduced by 20%. That's why. 3D Warboat. 3D Mage Staff. We already have a Javai Honda. I don't think we need more of those. 3D Warbow. I guess. You can take this as well. Right, so that spawns Hand of Vishan, I believe, on the final island. Just inherited Precision Strike on Prish, with no buff, no stacks. Did around 3 times 750 surety on small slimes. Cool. Glad it's working for you. Away with you, bees. Away with you. Does this spawn? Oh shit! Oh, it's okay. He's not as ridiculous as the other one. I was like, uh-oh. Oh, SpaghettiOs. This is some other level 70 beast. But it wasn't. He's only level 63, a poor little guy. These poor 3D. Now, I would not like to be doing these on D4 because this is D0. There's not really much benefit to doing these on D4 either. Because all you're getting are the random drops increased. It doesn't actually help you get the gear or anything like that. It might be cool to do them on D4 eventually, but I don't see much point in doing them on D4. But they're clearly not set up to be a raid in the first place. Well, they don't have a slime. I don't know how I thought that was going to land. Trying to land anything without over channel on like any of these level 60 plus things is basically impossible. "3D War Club." We can use that, I think. Oh no, it's the mace, isn't it? I don't know. White satin gloves. Those are extremely questionable. Extremely questionable. Yeah, I guess we'll grab this too. This one, isn't it? A 3D War. Oh, a 3D War Mall. I do not have that. Right. Well, yeah, we did it. Wait, this is so cute. What is that? Buzzy Bee. Wait, where did that come from? I didn't know we had that emote. That's a sweet emote, Somnio. When did we add that? Where did it come from? Yeah, I'm spent. I'm done. We did all the content in the game. We didn't do it well, but we did all the content in the game. Right, I'm out. Thanks very much. I'll be back tomorrow. I might do this again tomorrow and just do the raids at the like start of the week rather than the end of the week. We'll see. We have a busy week this week. We have in the later half of the week we have Wizardry patch. Wizardry second collab part plus Dread Barrage in Granblue Fantasy. So yeah, EverQuest is probably first part of the week, and then none of it on the rest of the week. Thanks for being here, guys. I appreciate it. Thanks for keeping me company. I shall be back tomorrow. Yes, it's Dread Barrage. Dread Barrage on Thursday. I hope you all had a wonderful day, or are going to have a wonderful day. And I will be back tomorrow. Good luck with wherever you're up to, and I will see you soon. Thank you. And bye-bye. See you later, Aki Ben. Bye, Quantum. See ya, Fox. Congrats on your Final Fantasy victory. Thank you, Lars. Thank you, Somnia. Thank you, Mr. YK. I hope you get your keys, lights, your guiding lights.